Wednesday morning. Sam, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Anytime, Jordy. Hope all is well, bud.
Yes, sir. All right, let's start with the big news, the big one of the day. Terry Bussey, how are we feeling going into signing day? And tell me a little bit about this recruitment, what it's been like.
Yeah, well, this is no question the biggest storyline we're watching. Terry, the number 11 player in the country, like you said, Jordy, a projected defensive back for Georgia, LSU, and Texas A&M, the three finalists. He's going to announce his decision at 9 a.m. This is one of the crazier twists of this story. Is as of last night, pretty late, and then again the wee hours of this morning. I don't have that he has told a single school yes or no at this point. I reported this about before he went to Texas A&M that this has been shaping up to an LSU Texas A&M battle. Georgia made a really strong push as soon as Dante Williams and Travaris Robinson got to Georgia. A little bit too late. We're hearing that Athens is just a little bit too far away from Timpson, located right on the border of Louisiana and Texas. We know that LSU has been pushing for some time. They were a finalist before Bussey committed to the Aggies over the summer. He returned back in season, took an unofficial this past week, and really that was a big chance for guys like Cory Raymond and Blake Baker. Obviously, Cory Raymond back as DB coach, Blake Baker back as defensive coordinator, sit down with Bussey, formulate a little presentation, explain to him why he is a day one contributor potentially in Baton Rouge. And we all saw the LSU secondary last year, so I'm pretty sure that added up pretty quickly for Terry. And then Texas A&M, we talked about he was a long-time lean to Texas A&M. That, of course, was under the Jimbo Fisher coaching staff. Mike Elko, their new DB coach, Ishmael Artiside, were part of that staff 3 or 4 years ago before they went to Duke. They recruited Bussey at Duke, and since arriving back in College Station in December, they have been all in trying to keep Bussey in this 2024 class. He is the centerpiece of this class for them. Obviously, one of the 2 or 3 best players, not only in the country, but in the state of Texas. Going from Monday to Tuesday, and even this morning, you were hearing things, Jordy, like 50-50 either way, torn. The fact that he hasn't told any schools yet is a little bit of it's an interesting wrinkle because usually, these schools have a pretty decent idea. So there's a lot of confidence both in LSU and Texas A&M. Talking to people close to Terry's recruitment, I think there's a sense that the loyalty factor is a big part of it. Hence, he never decommitted. He never took an objective look at all of his options, as a non-committed recruit. At the same time, I have heard multiple people, both on the LSU side and close to this recruitment, that it would say a flip today would not be the least bit surprising.
Oof! Wow, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm trying to remember. Sam, can you recall when there's been this much intrigue and this much curiosity about somebody going into the day?
Absolutely not. I'm telling you this. It might. You said it at the top of the show. It's kind of a low key national signing day. Most of the big names are already verbally committed. Even Terry is already verbally committed. But this recruitment has a very interesting feel. Having covered Terry the past year and change, it's always been super easy to get information about him. Always easy to kind of get a feel for his recruitment. Like I said, A&M has been a long-time leader for him. But this thing really opened up in the summer and took a whole different turn once December came and all these coaching staffs got makeovers and the push got a little bit more serious. I don't know the last time I've heard with a 5-star plus recruit that it could go either way, and we're talking about an hour away from his announcement. Very, very rare do you hear that college coaches are guessing about their confidence, that people very close to this recruitment at his school on his football team are still guessing where he's going to go. I don't think he has told a single soul, which is only added to the drama. And I think, and truth be told, there is a legitimate 50% chance that he picks the Aggies and sticks, but you got to remember it's a whole different coaching staff, so it'd be a monster victory for Mike Elko and co. And there's a 50% chance that he goes to LSU. They've been pushing under BK and Frank Wilson, and now you have Cory Raymond and Blake Baker involved. This is getting very serious, and I think it could go either way, and no one would be surprised.
Was there any relationship with Raymond in place before Raymond got back to Baton Rouge?
Yeah, Corey offered Terry when he was at Florida. He never made a visit out there. I think similar to we're talking about Georgia. I think Gainesville is just a little bit of a ways away, but Corey's coming in to reshape that secondary. We know some of the traits from his previous stint in LSU, what he looks for, especially as a nickelback, and Terry hits that over and over again. He's got elite track speed. Corey loves DBs that play on the offensive side of the ball. The way he's recruited over the past couple of years, and Terry's profile, his resume, his verified track times, his athletic profile, and then you really, away from the field, he's a 5-star plus kid, elite character, 4.2 GPA. I think he fits exactly what Cory Raymond is looking like, and an instant impact DB for him next year.
We saw some movement on LSU's defensive staff. Brian Kelly made decisions on guys like John Jancic and Bob Diaco over the last couple of days, and now seem to have their staff in place. Sam, how have you gotten the feedback from recruits on this new defensive staff put in place, and maybe having conversations, not necessarily with Bussy, but even future guys?
Yeah, I think if you're an LSU fan, you're already pretty impressed with the way that this 2024 class unfolds, regardless of how today goes. Mm-hmm. The way that they were able to pull in guys like Gabe Relaford and Dom McKinley from A&M, from A&M's class, and then go out of state for multiple 5-stars, including Weston Davis, again, another A&M commit. This staff has Brad Davis, Joe Sloan. Now you look at Blake Baker, Cory Raymond. Don't even get me started on Frank Wilson, Cortez Hankton. These guys have put in a lot of work. Brian Kelly has come up with an all-star staff to be able to recruit Louisiana. I know it sounds cliche, and every coach says they want to put a wall around the fence. We've all heard that 100 times. In the NIL era, in the transfer portal era, kids are more prone to stay a little bit closer to home. That doesn't mean that they won't, but there is incentive for them to stay home. They're already leaning that way. And I think the way that Brian Kelly has assembled his staff, from the coordinators to the position coaches now, I think that they have found the right mix to be able to do what they want to do as far as roster building, roster management, and then behind the scenes. You see some of the guys that they're bringing back behind the scenes. I think that they're doing a fantastic job with the guys that they brought back, really. And then some of the new faces. Bo Davis has ties to the state of Texas. We know he's a Louisiana guy. When Don McKinley committed to A&M, they announced Texas D-line coach Bo Davis at Acadiana LCA. So that turned a lot of heads in the venue that night. But Bo Davis is an LSU legend. He's very well known, not only in Louisiana, but around Texas, around Mississippi. And you already know that those are key areas for LSU. I think that the guys that they brought in are not only proven, but they fit the bill to 10 out of 10s.
Sam, what's the best way to keep up with you this morning to keep up with Terry's commitment?
Yeah, he's going to be announcing in an hour. We'll have him fully covered on 3, whether he sticks with A&M, whether he flips to LSU, whether he pulls a rabbit out of the cap and goes with Georgia. Who's going to rule out Kirby Smart? But keep it all tuned to social media on 3.com. We're going to have a full breakdown of whatever Terry ends up doing, and that if it is LSU, you can stay with on 3, the national side. You can go to the Bengal Tiger. Shay and Billy are ass kickers over there. No matter what he does, there will be a story behind it, and we'll have it for you.
The national recruiting analyst, Sammy Spiegelman, over at On3, they do great work. Sam, before I get you out of here, Devin Harper, another offensive line commit for Brad Davis and LSU. It's incredible to see what Brian Kelly, Davis, and the offensive staff have done to transform this room in just 2.5 years. What do you know about Harper?
A big fan of Devin Harper. I've gotten to see him camp at LSU last year after his sophomore season. And then again, I got to see him when Captain Shreve and Calvary played early in the regular season last year. As far as offensive line goes, he's one of those first off the bus kind of kids, 6'4.5", about 300 pounds. In a camp setting, he was extremely impressive. He was one of our top performers last summer, and you kind of knew that he was going to be an LSU, Alabama, Georgia, an SEC level offensive lineman, whether that's a right tackle or probably more square in the inside offensive line. But then seeing him in person, for a big guy, he moves extremely well. He's extremely reckless with the way he blocks. He has great feet, very soft hands. Brad Davis is going to teach him the ins and outs, the X's and O's, to make him a more technically sound offensive lineman. But in terms of, you already have Brett Bordelon, who's a legacy, and Devin Harper committed in that 2025 class, coming off a really sensational 2024 class that they're going to put the finishing touches on today. Brad Davis has completely shut down Louisiana recruiting in terms of offensive line. And really what stands out to me is he's an excellent evaluator of talent. And that's the biggest thing with offensive line. Everyone knows the 6'6", 280-pound guy is probably going to be a decent tackle. Brad Davis is really doing a great job early identification of talent and building those relationships.
Sam Spiegelman, our guy, man, from 1-3. Keep up with him this morning. Keep up with him for all your recruiting information, especially from a national scope. And you can catch him here time to time on the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate it as